Hello, everyone. There's loads of you here already. How rubbish am I that I'm late? um, and I'm loving the crown thing still because then it means that you all fight to comment the most, which obviously boosts my video. So that makes me very happy. So can you all hear me okay before I carry on going any further? Because I can see lots of messages, but I'm not sure if you can hear me all right. Is it good? We're good. Right. The hubby says that it's good. So there you go. Look, little wave from Ben. So I'm going to quickly say hello to you all. So we've got Lynn and Hazel, Maggie, we've got Gaz, Deb Sneery, hello. We've got Caroline, yay, made alive. It has been blisteringly hot today. Hope everyone has. Oh, it has. It's the humidity as well, isn't it? That's a bit of a nightmare. Lynn, hello. Oh, Ben McCarthy. Betty, hello. Thank you so much for joining. What else have we got? I don't want to miss anyone. Kat Howell, hello. You can hear me perfect. That's brilliant. Jan Shea, apologies if I'm saying your last name wrong, but hello. Tracy Kay, hello. Anna Marie. Is Anna Marie? I'm sorry. Anna Marie. It's because we've got an Anna Marie and I just instantly say that. Hot here too at 34. Oh, Pat, I know. B, hello. Sir Gaz, Ben says, right, so I'm going to bring this in. I know that I should have been doing this on Thursday, but I had a hospital appointment with regards to my back. You know that most of you will know that I've been having trouble with my back. So I was a little bit poked and prodded. And by the time I got home, I'd had enough. I just didn't feel up to doing my live. So apologies, but we're here now, which is all that matters. I'm very sad as I have to go back to work tomorrow, having had 2 weeks. Oh, that's the only thing, isn't it? I'm very, very lucky that what I get to do as a job, and I really enjoy it. So going back to work for me is absolutely fine. I really enjoy it. Barbara, hello. So this is what I was going to be doing on Thursday, which is obviously what we're doing now. Rebecca Haas, hello. Nicola, aren't you on holiday or is that next week? So I had a bit of a play about. I was going to do a cracker gift box and then I was going to do it with sort of both ends crackers, and then I thought, no, we'll do it with one base, obviously flat, so we can stand it up on holiday Tuesday. I'm not jealous at all. And then, so I had many ideas. I had an idea of doing the cracker box so it opens in 3. You know when, so those boxes you've probably seen, I know someone on my DT did one and I know I've done them before in the past. You know when you open it up and there's a box there, a box there and a box there. So you've got one on each side. So I had thoughts about doing that. And then because that sort of opens up, it gave me the idea to do this one. So this is what we've got. So on this one, they are 3 separate boxes and you can keep them as separate boxes if you want because they all work beautifully on their own. Greek Island cruise. Not jealous at all. It'd be lovely and cool, I would imagine, on a cruise. Right, yes, so anyway, so I had all these ideas about, and then so I thought, so I've ended up on this one. So my bottom 2 are just drawers, which obviously I'll show you how to make. So bottom 2 are drawers, and they close up like that. The top one isn't, because obviously you can see that the top one is the top of my cracker. Now you can have this, you can adjust sort of these score lines or cut lines in the corners to make this close a little bit more, but I wanted this just as it is. And then I thought, actually, when you're making a little, I mean, you can make loads of these and sort of put it together as a little advent calendar if you want. But I thought whenever you're giving anything to kids, they love it when they can have a play about with something. So if they can open the drawers, if they can turn them all. So obviously this is what I've done. So I've done it so all of the drawers, all the different sections all turn round, and then obviously it's almost like a little bit of a jigsaw as well, because I've got an image on each side and they get to have a bit of a play getting it back to where it begins, where it began. So they can have a bit of a play as well. Now I've used brads or split pins to attach mine. You could use magnets, but it will spin, but it's going to come apart as well. So if you wanted that element in there as well, you could use just magnets in between these. But no, I've just used the split pins or the brads because I just thought it's just a little bit of fun. And if you're gifting to kids and they can do things like that, they absolutely love it, don't they? So nice and simple. Again, we'll break it down into those separate boxes or separate pieces, and then we'll put them all together. And then all I did round the top of mine is I've got some sort of string or twine, I've got some glittery ribbon, and then these baubles are the ones, let me grab, that you will get in your craft kit if you bought one from me. Now I'm not sure if you're going to be able to, it's not going to really pick up on it, but you can see that it's sort of shaker in there. But there's candy canes, there's candy, there's a little Santa face, there's a little Christmas tree in there, there's presents. So you've got all these lovely shaker elements in there, and that's all I've done is I've just tied a couple of those onto there. So nice simple box, but obviously you can build this up as much as you want. You can attach a few to a base if you want. And then obviously, because if you attach them to a base in maybe a hexagon, or if it's a circular base, because they can still turn all the different sections, they still can get to all of the different drawers as well, and just have a lot of fun with it. So that is what I'm going to be showing you how to do today. Look how organised I am. How long, should we take bets on how long it lasts? So is Matt in? Was Matt late? Hi, how are things with, yes, Matt was a little bit late, but that's quite all right. We'll let him off. So you're all loving it. Thank you very much. So I've got wows and love that idea. So creative. Thank you for Emma. Hello. 29 in your house. I think it's been 350 in my house today, if that's even possible. Oh, your creativity and ability to make things just blows my mind. Oh, thank you, Lynn. That's very sweet of you. Pamela, hello. So shall we get on with it? Oh, I'm waiting for my order to arrive, including that adorable kit. Yeah, so obviously these are some of the papers. So some of you I've got new names on there, so I will quickly show you, because if you don't know, I obviously design and sell my own papers as well. So this particular collection here, I think it's when we believed, or Once Upon a Christmas, it's one of them. And it's got all these beautiful elements, these beautiful pictures, which is what I've used on this. So I've used 4 of the different ones, and I've used 2. So that image follows onto that one, and then that one there, it follows round onto there. So I've used 6x6s on this, but this is obviously my A4 pad. So I'll just quickly show you some of them. I just thought, if you're gifting to kids, or if you've got older children, they're going to love this. I think everyone's going to love it, actually. It's just whimsical and Christmassy and just adorable. So that is the one that I've used on here. But the one that I'm going to use on this one is my Santa's Cozy Christmas. So these are just some of the backgrounds. And again, I haven't got them all with me. I'll just quickly show you. So this is Santa's Cozy Christmas. And these are the backgrounds. And then we've got some Santa's Cozy Christmas main images. So these are some of the main ones that come with that collection. I'm going to be having a play with. So let's get on, shall we? Let's pop this to the side. And we'll move these. So first of all, what you're going to need is, depending on how many of these boxes that you need or you want in, I've just got 2. So I need 2 pieces of paper or card. I've already got one cut up. I'm looking for it, aren't I? So they're 9 by 6 inches. So you need 2 pieces of card at 9 by 6. Oh, Darlene, my first live with you, but I have rewatched some of your tutorials and even made some. You are extreme. Oh, thank you. That's very nice of you to say. Thank you very much. Can you tell that I find it really hard to accept a compliment? I never know what to say. Right, so 2 pieces of card, and they are 9 inches by the 6 inches. So on the long side, I'm going to turn it this way because that's the way it's a little bit scored already. So on your long side, I know I'm popping off the edge a bit, aren't I? There you go. So on your long side, we're going to score 1.5 inches, 4.5. Going to score at 6. And then we're going to turn it round. And on your short side, we're going to score at 1.5 and 4.5. Or 1.5, and then just flip it all the way around and score at 1.5 again. It just makes it a little bit easier with measurements. So we'll just go with those 2 for now. So sort of quite nice and easy. And then what we're just going to do first off is we're just going to burnish all of those score lines. So it's quite easy to make these a lot bigger if you want to. I've done it. I think you can get 2 of these. Can I get 2 of these out of, yes, 6 by 9. So you can get 2 of these out of a 12 by 12. Or if you've got A4, you can only get 1 out of that. So this piece here is going to be the front of my drawer. So I want to bring in my little, if you don't have one of these notch punchers, you can just draw a semicircle and cut it out that way. You know, if you've got a die, a circle die, you can sort of pop that on. Or if you want to add a little drawer front with using either some ribbon or an actual little metal embellishment or just a little tab, it's entirely up to you. But I went for, as you can see, just using that little notch punch. So just let me turn it round. Find it easier that way. So I'm just lining it up in the middle. You can measure this, but there's about 1 mil over there and 1 mil over there. So I can sort of really judge it quite well that it's in the middle. And then it cuts out that lovely notch. So we know that that's the front, so it's going to flip over and that's going to be the top of the box. So on this piece here, just like sort of any other box that we would be making, we're going to trim those tabs. So I'm going to cut straight up there. And then on that little side piece, I'm just going to cut my little cheese wedge out. And the same at that side. And we'll flip it over and do the same on that side. Just another little cheese wedge. I don't know why I call them a cheese wedge. It's just something I've always done. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold that there. So you can see where my little wedge has gone in. And I always fold it over when I'm making any box bases or box lids, because when you fold it over, then if this is a little bit wonky, I can straighten it off. And by folding it, it just really allows you to see if you've gone a little bit wonky. So I'm going to do it on the same on that one as well. Just make sure that it's nice and straight. Okay, which it is. So again, when you're putting this together, what I have done is I've got my side pieces on the base. Oh, did my camera just, oh no, it's my eyes. And I've got this top bit is going to come over, and those top bits are going to be on the outside. If you want those bottom bits on the outside, it's entirely up to you. But it felt a little bit, I don't know, more tidy when I had the sort of top bit going over and down. There's a reason that I'm saying that to you, and I will show you in a minute, because we need to finally finish this one off. And that side. So because this bit is going to go up, and these are going to come round, and the drawer's going to open forward like that, we need to trim these down. And we also need to trim. So what we're going to do is from here, we're just going to trim a little bit of a cheese wedge down. So try and make sure that it's exactly the same depth down, because when you open it, if one side is a little bit bigger than the other, or you've got a stronger angle cut away from that one, it's going to look untidy. So you sort of want both sides to look exactly the same. So what I tend to do is I'm just going to pop it on here, and I'm going to mark. So I'm following my line there and there. So they're exactly the same. And then we're going to trim that wedge away. And on that one as well. But again, we don't need that whole amount. So we're going to trim it. And I'm going to trim these as well. So I'm going to bring in this. And then, so these front pieces, that I'm just going to trim them to roughly 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to pop it on there. I'm going to fold that one out of my way. And I'm just going to trim that bit off there. Can you see? So bring it to the other side. So fold that out of the way so you can see. So this one, I'm just going to trim it to roughly 3/4 of an inch. Yeah, that's right. So they're both a lot shorter. And again, so when I was saying, if I'm having these pieces on the inside and those on the outside, I'm just going to trim a slither off of that. It just makes it sit nice, nice and neat. So I'm just using that first line on my scoreboard just to trim that little bit away. I'm going to do the same on this side. Can use that first line and trim it away. Diane Pulling, sorry I'm late. Just got back from the coast and had to wash sand off. I'll let you off then. Shannon, hello. I don't know if I saw you. I didn't know if I saw your sort of name before, but if I did or I didn't, you've got 2 hellos. Christmas money, absolutely perfect for that. Definitely. And the good thing is, you know, you could put the money in one, you could put just a little, I suppose, depending on how old they are, a little bit of chocolate in one, and you've still got the potential, because all I've done is I've just popped just some string around it, just some string and ribbon. I haven't tied it into a knot or anything like that. Or if you've got a little bit of coloured elastic, something like that. So you've got the ability to pop something in there as well. Now they're all 1.5 inches high. So it's just nice for little gifts. Or, you know, if you've got lots of grandkids and you want to create them all something to make the little bit that you're going to give them all a lot bigger and a lot better, and, you know, a lot fancier. Right, so I'm going to pop that down. So what you can see now is, obviously those are the same height, and you can see here where I've trimmed those in, and then you can see where those have been trimmed in even further. So what's going to happen now is when I tuck all this up and together, nothing's getting in the way of anything else. It's all going to sit nice and snug, and then that's going to fold in there absolutely lovely. So it's entirely up to you. Before you put this together or afterwards, you can put all your mats and layers on. I'm going to do it afterwards because you can guarantee that if I put it all mats and layers on now, I'm going to forget, because I sort of almost go a bit pattern paper blind when I'm creating, and I'll end up with them all in different ways. So, but if now is the time when you want to pop your pattern paper on, then now is the time to do it. So what I'm going to do first is we're popping glue on the outside of these two tabs. So I'm using my tacky glue. And so I want to glue these to the lid, to the top bit first, because these sides are lovely and straight. And I'm going to, I know I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to put a little wedge on that side as well. So glue it to the lid, which you know is a nice straight edge for you to pop that against. So let me see if I can find, there it is. So let me just pop that on that side for a second, go to the other side and line it up just there, nice and perfect. So I'm holding it the right way up. This is the lid. Okay. So just give that a second, because craft card always takes a little bit longer because it's so fibrous. Your glue wants to just soak into it rather than glue your two pieces together. So it sometimes just needs that extra seconds to hold. Right, so bringing those two sides up. My camera keeps losing focus, doesn't it? I don't think it likes the craft card, does it? So bringing those two up and in, have a look. And if the edges here aren't butting up and bending into that bit, then you don't need to trim anything off of there. So which is why, you know, when I showed you how I fold those over and give it a good trim, make sure it's nice and straight. Sometimes if we forget, then that's when this bit, just check before you glue it all together that it's not sort of getting bent and stuck here. And if it is, just give it a tiny little trim. Mine isn't, but I'm still going to give it a trim anyway. So you can see the tiniest little bit that I'm trimming away. So there we go. So then bring it all back together. Make sure that you're happy with it, that everything's nice and neat and straight and scored and, you know, is going really well. And then we're going to glue it together. So holding it this way. So this is now the base. If I bring it that way, we're going to glue to the outsides of these tabs because I want mine on the inside. That makes sense. So flip it over, glue on both these tabs on the side. And then bring it in. And then, because these are nice and straight, we can line those two pieces up, line it up with that nice straight edge you've got there. And it should glue per, oh, let me tuck that one in. There we go. There we go. So that is just one of the boxes. I'll glue the other one together so you can sort of see it coming together again. So these are just going to tuck in and it's going to fold up. Right. So when it gets to there, you can see that mine's not going to tuck in, which just means I need to cut that wedge a little bit longer or a little bit deeper down there. So here on the outsides, just go a little bit further down than what I did. You don't want to go too far down because it makes the drawer front really loose and it doesn't stay in. So it's definitely a case of just snip off a little bit at a time. And then it goes in and sits nice and snug. Just give that a good burnish, good press down. So there we go. Bring that up and in, and it sits in lovely. So I'll glue this other one together for you. I'll do it a little bit quicker. Well, because I've already got all my cut marks and everything like that. So first thing I did is we're going to glue those two side tabs here. And we're going to glue them to what is the top, what is the lid, because that's a nice straight edge for us. There we go. And then hold those two together for a second. Oh, I can watch for a quick few minutes. Cute box. Thank you very much, Shannon. Diane, I'm not going to pronounce your last name, Nemeth, because I'll say it wrong. Is this something you designed yourself, Michelle? This box, it is, yeah. I mean, I think you can find these kinds of boxes all over, can't you? But this size and this particular design, I came up with myself today. Right, so remembering that that's the lid, I'm going to bring these up and over. I'm going to make sure that I'm happy with the snugness, the fit, making sure that nothing's sort of getting in the way of anything else. And if I am, then we're going to carry on and glue those two sides together. So tuck both of those in and then line them up and just give them a good press, a good burnish. There we go. And then fold those in and pop that there. Mine's a little snug, so because that's gone a little bit wonky. Try that again. Put them. Oh, that's better. So it just sits in lovely. So that wedge just needs to be, I always do a little slither first, and then you'll know, because when it gets to there, this bit here will be too high. It won't tuck in. So what you could technically do is, if you wanted, bring your pencil in and mark just there. So then when you open it, you know exactly where to cut to on that side. So that is my two boxes that you can see are at the base of this one. So how simple is that? So if you're making advent calendars and you've got like 24 boxes to do, or if you've got like 5 grandkids and you've got 24 times 5 to do, don't even want to add that up. It's too warm. It's a nice simple box that really comes together sort of nice and quick. So that's those two. So this is where you can either use your brads or magnets if you want to stick these two together. So what I'm going to do is I've cut some squares of card and I've cut them just shorter than the 3x3. I think they're 2.5 by 2.5, just so you don't see the edges when they're all sort of piled up together. So where are my brads? So you've got choices on this one. I don't know if you can see the brad. So I just went straight from box to box because obviously this was a bit of a template and I just wanted to see how it would work. But I think to make it easier, what we're going to do is your bottom box, get a piece of card that is, what did I do? I did 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And then this one goes on top. The base of that, obviously, you need another piece of card. So what we can do, which is going to make it easier. Now, your brads, make sure that they've got a nice, or your split pins, you need a nice flat top brad or just a really nice small one. So I'm going to take these 2 pieces of card. I'm going to move those there. And then with my ruler that's disappeared, I'm just going to, corner to corner, we're just going to put a little, so corner to corner with your ruler and just an X in the middle. Now, you're not going to see this, so it doesn't really matter about the pencil mark. And then you know that you are obviously bang on in the middle. I'm just looking for my pokey tool. And then I'm just going to put my pokey tool through and create that hole. Now I'm going to put that one on top. Going to bring in my pencil. And now I've got that pencil mark in the middle. I've got a hole in both of them and they should line up perfectly. You need to make sure that they do line up perfectly, or one of your boxes is going to be wonky on top. It's going to, on one side it probably won't, but then on another side it's going to jut over the side. So you need to make sure that these are right in the middle. And then we're just going to put the brad all the way through. And we're going to attach those two pieces together. Now make sure that it turns nice. Obviously you need to make sure that that's nice and firmly together, but obviously you need to make sure that this turns smoothly. And then all you need to do is you need to glue, and again make sure that you get this nice and straight and in the middle. You will glue one there, and then you will bring the other one on and you will pop it on the top. And because one's glued to the top, one's glued to the bottom, that's going to give you your spin. So just adjusting that. Right, let's get this bottom one glued. So red liner tape, a really strong glue, because if you are gifting this to kids and they're going to have a good play with it, you need to make sure that it's going to withstand them. So let's pop that right in the middle. Just make sure you wiggle it until it's lovely and centered, and then give it a good, just give it a good hold for a second. I'm going to pop that on there. Did I get another one out? The worst thing I did was I put all of my little pegs and things together in with a load of these hat pins that you can get. So when I'm trying to sort of scour through looking for anything, I end up poking holes in myself. Wasn't the best idea I've had. Right, so let's just hold them on there for a second. I'm going to let that like really dry, really go off. What's wrong? Okay. I love making 3D projects. Yours are especially fun. I think if you've got that element in where something moves or something, it just makes it a lot of fun, doesn't it? Right, so let's go on to, while that's sort of drying, let's put something heavy on it. There we go. So while that's drying, we will move on to the next bit. She says as she throws everything on the floor. Bear with me. Oh. A bad back doesn't allow me to bend to the floor and pick things up. Right. So for the top bit, for the cracker bit, because each side is 3 inches, I've had to use 2 separate pieces of card. Even with my 12 by 12, it's still not long enough. So let's bring in my scoreboard again. So you need 2 pieces of card that are 6.5 inches by 5.5 inches. And then we're going to score. Let me do it that way. It's easier to add up. We're going to score on the long side. We're going to score at 3 inches and we're going to score at 6 inches. And it gives us that 1/2 inch tab. And then we are going to score on the short side. We're going to score at 1 inch. We're going to score at 2.5, 3.5, and 4.5. And you're going to do that on both pieces. Right, so obviously making sure that your tabs are on the same side. We're going to do all those scores. I'm burnishing on all of these. No idea. I'm new to the world of construction, but I'll have a go at this. I like a challenge. So, see, that's it. I think when you look at a project like this, if you are new to it, you think, well, how on earth has that been done? But as I'm showing you, when you break it down into those smaller bite-sized pieces, you think, oh, I can do that, which is obviously music to my ears. Just scoring all of these. Right, so again, remembering my craft card's got two different sides. It's got a lighter side and it's got that darker. Now, this is the bit that I want on the outside, so which is why I'm saying remember which sides you've got your tabs at, because you don't want to accidentally have the dark out and the light. So they're going to, obviously, it's going to pop together like that. We're going to pop together like that now. So I was just saying to you, wasn't I, about having your tab on the same side. Now, so the top of your cracker is going to go like this. That's going to be the side of my box and the base. And then that's the cracker bit at the top. So let's pop that to the side because we want to cut these into it. So let me bring this in for you. So this piece here is this piece here. And then those two pieces there is that little concertina bit on the inside. So that is where that middle one is where we need to put our pencil mark. So bringing in my ruler, so remembering, so the second, so 1 inch, 2 inch, that middle one there, you're going to bring in your ruler, and from that tab, we're going to measure 1 inch in and pop a pencil mark. And then from the middle bit, you're going to measure 1 inch in. And then we're going to do the same on this side. We're going to pop 1 inch in from the middle scar, and then from the outside bit, we're going to pop so we've got those 4 little notches. So that's 1 inch from here. And then from the middle bit, they're both 1 inch, and then again 1 inch there. So then we're going to fold that middle one that we've got those notches on. In fact, what we will do first is we need to get rid of some of these bits. So we'll do that first. So where your tab is, we're going to get rid of the bottom bit because we don't need that because that's the base of the box. So this is going to be the side of the box. So we need to keep that bit. And this bit is the top of the box. So we need to keep that bit. Because they're just the two bits that are going to be glued together. So so if I fold those away, that whole bit there needs to be trimmed away. We don't need that at all. So now you can see that that notch is 1 inch from here. So now we can go in, fold it on that line, and where that 1 inch pencil mark is, I'm going to cut from there up to there on that score line. So can you see? So from that 1 inch to the 3 inch is where we've cut. So I'm going to fold it again. And on this one here, I need to cut to that centre line. And then that 1 inch that's on the other side, we need to cut up. So you're just cutting wedges out. My cheese wedges, the infamous cheese wedge. Because obviously the first one's just that wedge, but then the middle one is a diamond. And then again here, we're just going to cut from there up to that score line. And then when you open it out, that's what you've got. So it's your stereotypical look. So when you fold that back in, you can see how your cracker's going to come together. And then all I need to do is, on this bit that's going to be my base, is I need to trim off the middle. So then you can see now, let's score. how that's obviously two sides of your cracker. And that's it. We're going to do the same on this one, but I'm going to get another piece because I think I've scored that one upside down. I have my tabs on the right side, but I've got my 1.5 inch bit there. So I'm going to grab another piece of card and we'll cut it down and score it on the right side this time. Normally it wouldn't matter, but because, like I said, the craft card is a different colour on both sides, it does matter. So let me pop that back there. 6.5 by 5.5. There we go. And then scoreboard. So if you want to make sure, if you've got a card like mine and you want to make sure that you're scoring the right way, bring this in and obviously have it there so you know which way to score. So I know my tabs here, so I'm going to score at that 1/2 inch there and then 3.5. So I'm going to turn it round. So I'm going to turn that round. So I know I'm not going to get it wrong this time. So scoring at that 1 inch at the bottom, 2.5, 3.5, and 4.5. There we go. So then we need to burnish all these again. And this is the easiest way to make a cracker. And you can make a cracker with 4 or 5 sides, 6 sides if you want. But because you're doing it like this, it just makes it easier to increase the size, to increase the amount of sides that you've got. So, you know, if you've got a smaller cracker that you're creating and you can get it out of one piece of card, that's brilliant. But this is the easiest way for me to show you how to obviously size those crackers up. So remember from here, the 1 inch, 2 inch, and we're going to score at 1 inch from the tab, 1 inch from the centre, 1 inch from the centre, and then 1 inch from that side. And then we're going to get rid of the bits of the tab that we don't need. So which is that bit. And then remember, fold those 2 pieces in and we can get rid of that. And then, so my pencil lines are there. So that's the one that we're going to fold. And we're going to cut from there up to that score line. And then to the middle. And then that final one. So it just move all this now. So now I have 2 pieces exactly the same. So we're just going to glue. We're going to glue those 2 tabs together first. So I'll bring that in. Line those two top pieces up, and it should sit together lovely. Michelle, have you started your selection box yet? I haven't. I've got so many ideas that I'm struggling to decide on one. So I think I'm going to end up doing 2, to be honest. I know, so for anyone who's not sure, Matt did the most amazing sort of selection box or advent calendar. And it was absolutely gorgeous. So I said I need to up my game this year and make one just as fabulous. That spin point between the boxes with the brads is so clever, Mel. Now, so that is, if you've seen me in the past create a spinning shaker element on the front of my cards, that is how I do it. So you create your shaker element as a whole piece. It's got a back on it and everything. And then I use a brad to either attach it. So obviously I'll make smaller pieces depending on the size of my shaker element. And I use a brad, obviously I glue one to the shaker element, the other side to the card. And then obviously, but with that, you only need to do one really, but it depends on the size of your card and things like that. But that's how I attach my spinning shaker elements. Right, so the only other thing I forgot to do is just cut that notch at the bottom. There we go. So now obviously all four sides are going to fold down. Folding them down, and then that's it. You've got see, that's exactly how you make a cracker if this bit was 5 inches or 6 inches. If you wanted the top bit to be bigger, then you just make that top bit bigger, you score that. But for me, I found that this 1 inch, so that obviously both of those are 1 inch, and I found that the nicest, cleanest, loveliest look when you create a cracker. Now you can go bigger or smaller, it's entirely up to you, but I like this one because you can fold it flat or completely together if you want. Or you can obviously, depending on how tight you tie it, you can have it a little bit sort of wider looking. But I found that just makes it look so nice and neat and finished really well. So the only other thing I need to do on this is we're going to glue, obviously that's closed. So let's put some glue on here. And just hold those for a second. Sorry, I meant Advent. Yes, I knew what you meant, Matt. Sharp and dull things in a scrounge bin are not a good thing. No, I thought it was a great idea. I thought I'll put all those kind of bits together. And now every time I try to, I can't do it. Keep thinking I'm going to have to separate them, but it's a bit too painful having to separate them. Michelle, are you planning an Advent gift box again this year? I am. Oh, so I was saying, so I saw I saw a lovely one, and it was a Harry Potter train. And obviously I'm not going to do a Harry Potter train, but it was, you could adapt it. So there's the train bit, and obviously it's got all the doors on it, but it didn't just have the train, it had the tunnel. And on the tunnel bit was lots of doors as well. And I thought that's going to make an awesome Advent calendar. And then I saw another one that I absolutely loved. It was a sofa, a settee, a sofa, whatever, and it had the cushions on, and the arms and the back were all separate boxes. And then I thought to myself, that would look really good as a children's bed. So having it with the pillows and the bedside cabinets and having all those separate elements as separate boxes. So you can see why I'm struggling a little bit to decide on which one I want to create. Now, I've got a piece of card. It's 3 by 3. You can either pop it on the bottom or you can pop it on the inside to either strengthen or cover it up. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to pop it on the outside for no other reason than that's just where I popped it before. And then I saw another one. So I saw another Advent calendar. Was it an Advent calendar? I don't know if it was just decoration, but I thought it'll make a fabulous Advent calendar. And it was 3 or 4 tiers And on the bottom tier, so they were round. On the bottom tier, there was all these little houses with snow on them and little Christmas trees. And then there was another level and another level. And obviously the levels got sort of smaller and smaller. So the top one would probably be number 25. And I thought that one's another fabulous one. So maybe I need to put a poll out and say which one do you want to see first. Yes, you did. I remember seeing those, Emma, when you recreated those. They looked really lovely. Right, so that is my top box. This is going to be my middle one. And then we're going to glue, smooth those. Because now that's stuck to the bottom, you can see how it's going to twist and turn. So then all you need to do is you need to make sure that that's nice and straight and then glue that to the base of this one. Now, make sure it is nice and straight when you glue it on. So this actual piece needs to be nice and straight, because when you glue it together, if you glue it a little bit wonky, even if you think you're holding it straight, it's not going to sit straight, is it? So actually, no, we'll do it now because I'll get all muddled, won't I? So again, popping glue on there. And it's entirely up to you how you're going to feel easier making these go straight together. And find if you have that like that and you go on the top, you can't see if they've moved. So I find it easier to just bring that up to that. Now, I know it's bowing a little bit. It won't be in a second. So I find it easier to do it this way and hold it for a while. Don't try and rub, because it'll come apart, and especially in this weather when the glue is not doing as good a job as it should be. But if you use red liner, pop red liner on and then put a bit of glue on the top of your red liner, because then it gives you enough time to sort of make sure that it's all nice in place, without the red liner gluing sort of and sticking instantly. Carol, I'm sure it will be. Everything Michelle does is amazing. Thank you very much, Matt. You do give me a run for my money, Matt. I'm not happy. Love it. I can hear the excitement in your voice as you tell us, Michelle. I do get so excited. So let's open that up a bit and give it a nice good squeeze. Right, I'm going to pop those both to the side and I'm going to put some heavy on it just to allow it to really sort of stick. And then we're going to do exactly the same again. We're going to get 2 pieces of card. One's obviously going to glue there, one's going to glue to the top of that middle box. I mean, like I said, when I created this one, I mean, you can see from there that I put the brad just straight through, from the top to this box. And then again, if I open that one, you can see the brad at the bottom and at the top. So if you find it easier to do it straight, box to box and not having to put these extras in, then do it that way. So again, all I did was I put my cross in the middle to make sure that I was getting the brad right in the middle. I popped a little hole in, and sort of put them together. So it's entirely up to you. So ruler, pencil, and again, just corner to corner. So I'm just going to bring in my poker tool. And then pop that one on top and put a pencil mark right in the middle. Poker tool. And then bring them together and make sure that they're exactly. The thing sometimes when you go through with, I mean, my poker tool, can you see how it's angled? It's not straight all the way down. So sometimes if I try to pop through, and if I've got my finger too close to it, it makes my circle off center. Now it's micromillimeters, but it's enough when you want these two to line up. So pop it through nice and straight. Make sure your fingers aren't in the way or your nail. And then, so these are teeny tiny brads. They're a little bit too domed on the top for my liking, but they're still going to work. So if you are going to use it, definitely it needs to be a flat top. There we go. So before I pop that on, I'm going to bring these in. So I've already got all of my sides matte and layered. So, all my papers are still on the floor. So I've used one of the backgrounds, but I've used a 12 by 12 one on this instead of two 6 by 6s, because then I've got that beautiful flow of the design going around all four sides, and it's something that I just love. And it's entirely up to you. You do not have to have the flow of a design going all the way around. It's just something that I really enjoy doing, and I think it just looks lovely. So each other side, I'll bring them in for you. That's the top. I've matted these with some blue, and then the next one across, which is going to be my front, because you can see it's got those notches out. I've matte and layered those in red. So I've gone blue, red, blue, red. Now, this is why I always put mine together first, because I get carried away with what I'm doing and I forget which is supposed to go where, and then it all gets confuddled. So, but you will probably matte and layer all yours onto your boxes first before you put it together, or whichever works for you. So I'm not going to do it. You know, if I do it, it's going to go wrong. So let's just glue these bases together first. We've had some, I don't know if you all remember. Can you remember those jigsaw dies that we used to have on Crafter's Companion? Now, it doesn't matter how many times I numbered things, had them in order, I always ended up getting lost and having no clue. I think you have to have a bit more of an organised mind than what I've got. My head is very busy all the time, and I'm 3 projects ahead in my head of the one that I'm working on. So yeah, I think you have to have a bit more of an organised mind when it comes to a jigsaw or something. So there we go. Make sure that you can give it a wiggle before you glue the other piece on, because mine, I had just a little bit of glue had seeped out there and it had stopped it from moving. So make sure you've got that movement before you glue it to your next box. So let's bring this in and see if these are glued nice and securely. So bring my boxes in. And they are. Really happy with that. You always make sure that your glue has really, really gone off before you start having a play. It's not a big problem. You can glue it back on, but yeah, try and have a bit of patience. So what you could do, I think I just need to trim that a little bit more. Instead of having those 3 boxes, you could have add 2 more on the bottom, and then that equals 5 on the top. And then obviously create 5 of them, put them together however you want. And then you've got an advent calendar straight away with all those different boxes. Right, so I'm going to glue onto this one. We know it's we can see it's spinning really well. Try and not get glue over those edges. And then again, get that nice and straight. I find it easier to bring them together this way. I can see, and I feel I've got a little bit more control about not making that element spin. So then we're just going to hold that for a little bit. Your mum keeps all the cards I make for her. Yeah, I think my mum did exactly the same. Every card that we sent her for her birthday, for Christmas, for Mother's Day, she kept them all. Betty's pink parcel's just arrived. How exciting. Darlene loves the paper. Thank you very much. So all this paper's for sale. This is my latest release. So if you are wanting to purchase anything, my email address should be below. I don't have a website yet. That's still a work in progress. It's a long work in progress, but it is a work in progress. So just open that up and either with something that you can sort of reach in with, help it to stick. There we go. Right, I'm not going to twist it because you know if I twist it, it's going to twist off. So I'm going to, it just needs a few more minutes. So I'm going to pop it to the side and I'm going to put something heavy on it to allow it to hopefully stick together. And then, so this is, have I done that right? I have. I know I'm tempting fate opening them all up. So you can see that I've got the full around of that design. The drawer fronts are this bit. Now, I did just show you, haven't I? The fronts of the Santa. What did I do with them? I threw them on the floor as well. But you can see I did because I've got a big footprint on it. So these are the topper sets that you can get. So these are 3 by 4 inches. So cutting one of those out is going to fit absolutely perfect. So if you want to fussy cut, not fussy cutty, your Santas out. Michelle, would you recommend chipboard for the spinner squares? Absolutely, you can do that. You just have to be aware of how thick your chipboard is for how. I mean, it's not going to be a great amount, is it? But the depth, sort of the space in between each box. But again, it doesn't really matter, does it? So yeah, chipboard would work great as long as you secure it on nice, secure it on nice and secure. That doesn't make, but you know what I mean. It was always hit and miss with me, but when they worked, they were great. Oh, the jigsaws, but they never cut nicely. The jigsaw die, well, they're a multimedia die, aren't they? And I always found that if you struggled to cut through, you needed to add your metal shim. But and again, because it was a multimedia die, you had to have a bit of a jig about with your plate setting. But anything that you've got that doesn't cut very well, shove your metal shim in. If your machine doesn't have a metal shim, then just use some tin foil, or is it aluminum foil in the US? Because it's a metal. It's thin, but it doesn't matter. You still get that metal on metal with it. I'm so impressed with the Christmas box. And I'm glad you're liking it, Betty. I have lunch with 2 good friends once a month, and these would be a great little gift to add. Homemade earrings. Oh my God, and fudge. It absolutely would. Definitely. I mean, even if you did the cracker and it wasn't 3 separate boxes and your cracker was just that big, you would fit a lovely bag of fudge in there, wouldn't you? My God, I've got an obsession with fudge. So this place where I used to live in Yorkshire does the world's most amazing fudge. It's a mint fudge. So it's like green. It's bright green, you know, so not good for kids. But bright green fudge, and it's surrounded by chocolate. Mint fudge is like the most beautiful thing ever in the world. So anyway, so what I was saying was 3 stories ago, you could fussy cut these out because I've used the backgrounds. Then you could use the foregrounds to fussy cut your Santa out, or because they are a 3x4, they're going to sit lovely on this because it's 3 inches wide, and these are 1.5, so that's only 4.5. 1, 2, 3. It's only 4.5, isn't it? So that is practically going to fit perfectly just on the front of there. Right, so let's bring this back in, see if it's got all nice and stuck together. I think it has, look. Oh, it has, look. So they're going to spin absolutely beautifully. I think I just need to trim a little bit off that one. That's why it's not quite sitting in nice. So, oh, that's better. So I always find if these are all cut to the same size and you find that that keeps sort of popping out a bit, don't burnish those really, really well. Burnish them because obviously you need to fold them. Don't burnish them to the extreme that we normally do. You know, when we have that nice burnished edge, don't burnish them as much because then when you pop them in, they're wanting to come back out. So when you fold that in, because they're not burnished, they're going to sort of push out and stay in there. It sort of locks itself, if that makes sense. So let's get these glued on and get this. So again, I used red on some, blue on the others. I just thought it'd be a bit of fun, matting and layering different colours. I went down 1/8 of an inch for the red. In fact, I didn't. I think I went down, bear with me, let me bring in. So on here, obviously there's 16 marks between my 2-inch and my 3-inch. So I went down one. Is it 6/4? It's 16, isn't it? So I went down 1/16. So it's that first notch. So what it gives me, as you can see, is that really, really thin border. And then I went down. So my red or the blue, I went down 1/16 of an inch. And then that one, I went down another 1/16 of an inch. So all your scoreboards, all of your cutting elements will have that on there if you were working in inches. Because I just really wanted that really thin border around the edge. But again, that's sort of a personal preference, isn't it, that finishing? It's entirely up to you how big or not big of a border that you have on there. So you can see really why I put mine together first and then glue these sides on. It's strong enough to take you sort of popping it on there and having to hold it in place. But yeah, it doesn't take much to confuse me at the best of times. Confuse me or make me lose my place because my memory's shocking. But yeah, the perimenopause and busy mind doesn't help at all. Right. I think this needs to go on my to be tried list. Oh, it's well, you can see how simple it is to come together. It's just like I've just said, you just one bit at a time, shove it all together. Technical term. And it just works out absolutely beautiful. So now this is where I need to concentrate and make sure that I have that pattern follow round. There we go. We say tin foil here in the US. Oh, right, okay, I didn't know. I think I watched too much Gordon Ramsay, you know, the kitchen's nightmare and stuff like that. And he says it all the time. I think maybe he's done it just to make us look stupid. And all the Americans are looking at us saying, we don't say that. And it's like Gordon Ramsay's doing this big gotcha on everyone. So all I'm just going to be doing now is gluing these on. And then I need to decide how I want to close the top bit. I do have lots of coloured elastic. So you could just sort of pop one of those on. Or, like I said, you've got so many options, isn't there? I mean, to be honest, you don't even have to. If you just want to have it sat on the side like that, you absolutely could do. But I think it's always nice to have something a bit extra special in the top, and it's fastened up, and you could just get in that, as you can see, that little peak of what it is, which would absolutely kill me because I hate waiting for presents. Christmas, oh my gosh, is a nightmare when I know that Ben's bought my present, or someone will say to me, oh, I've got your present, and that's it. I just nag and nag until I know what it is. You have a book of what, me? Or obviously not me. My projects. So I'm gluing all these flat down, but you could use your foam pads or your foam roll and give these depth and height. There's nothing on here that is stopping it from working or opening if you do decide to add a little bit of depth with your foam or your 3D glue gel. The drawers will still open, the top will still lift up. So we're nearly there. You can see how that pattern's following round, lovely. Oh, that's upside down. See, I noticed that before someone shouted at me in the comments, you've put it on upside down. But so I did have, so the top strip of paper that I cut this out of had the top of the lantern. Right, let's see if we can find it. Because, oh, it's there, look. So that is the top of the lantern. Now, what you could do if you wanted to would be to cut that out. Let me just cut it out really roughly, just to give you the idea. But you could fussy cut that out and you could reattach it. There's enough space on the top of there to attach it to, or you could add a piece of paper onto the back to glue it onto the inside to attach it. So you've just got that bit of the design with the lantern that's still on there. Obviously you don't have to, but I think that would look quite cute, wouldn't it, if I reattached it? Or you could just use a strip of acetate just to glue it together and pop it on if you wanted to. Because sometimes I was trying to sort of judge the pattern, and it didn't quite make the cut. Sorry, I've got hiccups now, so I do apologise. But that would look nice, sort of stuck back on. Oh, well, what would also look nice actually is I've got all of my, well, both of my drawers on the same side. Now I've put the pattern on, they obviously have to stay there. I know the twist, but what I mean is, so I could have cut the drawer front out of, obviously, so where it is now, but then on the next one up, I could have used the back. So I could have cut, so technically it would be like that. But then when you put the pattern paper on, the pattern paper would follow with the drawer on the back rather than all the drawers on the front. Does that make sense? It makes sense to me. So when it's all stood and set in its follow-on pattern, that you'd have drawers one side and then that side and then that side, if that makes sense. I think it'll make sense to you all. I think you all quite versed in Michelle speak. Mine is just for ideas, things I want to try. Oh, Pat took a message back. This is looking fantastic. Thank you, Pat. So pop that last one on the top. Now, I've been a bit quick at putting mine on. Normally I would be a bit more careful making sure all of my corners are nice and stuck down. But I think they are. So that's it. So you've just got that pop of red and then the pop of blue. Obviously you can have your mats and layers a bit bigger if you want. If I open my drawers up, they're just, you can decorate inside if you want. But the difference is you don't see the brads on this one, whereas on this one, you do. But I mean, who's looking up? But then again, opening that box, you could, if you wanted to do it box to box and then just cover it with pattern paper on the inside, you could absolutely do that. So then all I'm going to do is I've got a couple of bits of, so I've got some lovely sort of, it's like a thick gold, spiny, can you see it? So I've got some of that. So I'm just going to trim that off. And I found all sorts when I was looking in my ribbon drawer today. I've got this, think this, I got this and it went in the almost Alice kit. I'm thinking, so I've got that, I've got some of this gold stuff and I'm going to use some string as well. I think it looks nice when you've got lots of different pieces on. So the good thing about your string is that when you tie it close with your string, because it's rough, you don't need to put a bow in it, you don't need to put an extra knot in it, it's just going to sit and it's going to hold it exactly where you want. So I always put that one on first, and then I'm going to add, so some of these baubles, like I was saying, you got in your kit. Yes, it makes perfect sense. Oh, that's good. It's good. We know how to decipher Michelle. What glue are you using? I am using Jamie Rogers Crafts. It's a clear drying glue. You don't have as much wiggle room with this. It does dry quite quick, but it's really, really strong. I really like it. So, yeah, so that's Jamie Rogers Crafts, the glue that I'm using. I like the way you're doing it now, Michelle. Thank you very much. So I'm going to, they've got a hole in the edge or on the end that is sort of wide enough. I'm just going to just, so that's a bit too, it's a bit too low. So we're just going to adjust just the sort of depth of that, length of that even. Oh, that's better. So I'm just going to trim that off. And then, but I've got loads and you can get them all over the internet. You can get them from Amazon. These ones have just got some little sparkly sort of, the little stars in there. I've got bells. I've got sort of rustic bells. Oh, I've got these. These came in your latest kit, which I do still have 4 left of. They're the fillable ones. So they come with a little lid, and it's just a glass ball. It's got a little hole in the top. You can put whatever you want in it. And then it comes with this little lid that you just glue it closed with. And you can use those. But these are the little lids. Can you see? You just glue those on. Loads of beads, loads of bells, all sorts in there. But I love these. And I think kids will love these as well because they've got so many different little pieces of, it's like Christmas confetti. There's trees in there, there's Santa faces, there's all sorts. Here we go. So I don't want them too long at all. You can really go to town. You can put as many on. If you have got your jewellery bits and you create like little key rings and things like that, you'll probably make little bits and bobs to go on there. Now I want lots of this. So let's just tie that round. And again, it's up to you. If you're not opening the top bit, just pop a knot in there. And then we'll pop this on the top. Just always looks lovely with loads of layers of strings, different textures, different finishes. So we just, again, I'll trim those down a little. And then I'll turn it over. So you've got really go to town with it. Put loads on there, almost shabby chic it up with loads of different colours and textures and little baubles on the ends. Maybe not if you're giving it to kids, they maybe won't want all that string on, but if you're giving it to one of your big kids. And again, so obviously all your drawers open and they all twist and turn, and kids are going to love it, especially obviously because each side has got different images on. It's going to be almost like a jigsaw for them. And they're just going to have so much fun with those. This one almost feels a little bit more grown up, even though it's young children on there. So you can see this is my prototype because I got carried away and put notches in everything. But so that is my project for today. So technically it is lots of boxes because you've got the bottom box and then you've got the cracker box, and obviously I've put mine together. You don't need to do that. You can create all these boxes and do so many different things with them. But it was so much fun. Michelle has the colour card stock you did last month. Has it come back in stock yet? Do you mean the... Oh, is it here? So the shimmery stuff. This. I know some of the colours have, and I know some of the colours probably in very nearly there. So what I will do is I will check tonight, and then I will pop a post up in the morning with the colours that are available. And then, so you did mean the paper and not the card, didn't you? Because this is, did I say it's 120 GSM? Look at the sheen on it. Isn't it beautiful? It's thick enough to work beautifully on its own or as mats and layers. And obviously it doesn't add a great weight to anything that you're creating either, which is what I've used on these. It's just beautiful. Let me show you some of the other colours while I've got you. So the colours were that blue, which is what I've used on here. You've got that red. Look at the gold on that. Yes, no, thank you. Ben's just reminded me I wanted to show you some sneaky pinks. And then you've got this black. Now, this is the one I think that was out of stock. And then you've got that lovely, it's like a nude, peachy colour. So, yes, so I will have a look. I did have another colour, didn't I? That one looked like gold. So these are 120 GSM. I can't remember off the top of my head the packs that I did. I think you could pick, wasn't it something like 10 sheets for £5? And the reason that, I mean, I know it's not cheap, but it's double-sided and it's colour core. So, and it's quite opulent. I think it's, I think was it 10 sheets, wasn't it, for £5? And you could pick your colours. But it's one of those that only the special people get a card that's made with that. All right. So can I show you some sneaky peeks of what I've got coming up? Oh yeah, they just won, so I can catch the end of my show. Oh, who won? What did I miss? It's so hard to craft because I don't get to read all the comments. Pretty gold. It is a pretty gold. So I've got a couple of sneaky peeks I want to show you. Now, on Thursday, I've got another launch. I'm trying to pick which one I want to show you. I've got another launch. It's my last Christmas in July launch. I know I said I was only doing one, but I may have fibbed a little bit. I don't know which one I want to show you. Show you this one. So it's my last Christmas in July launch, and it's my stained glass window collection. So I've got a collection. So it's a pad of 12, and it's inside. So they're inside or in front of the fire, and you've got that beautiful stained glass window effect. And then I've got another one, which was more Ben's baby than mine. His is more an outdoory one. Oh, and the prize goes to the person who can tell me what inspired him to create that one. So let me put my lid on my glue. So these two are being released on Thursday, and I've also got a background pad of the most beautiful wood effect, and it's a dark wood pad, so it's going to work beautifully with those. So this collection, you've got some teddies and you've got some children. Nearly Shannon. Yes, you've got gingerbread man. Let me show you a gingerbread man because I think they're cute as well. Let's show you this one. And then you've got some Santas and things like that. So lots of. So you know the painting? Is it Van Gogh? Is it Starry Night? And it's got all the sort of the swirls. So it was a little bit inspired by that. So the sky on these, Starry Night, has got these lovely swirls, and there's obviously there's more, but that was very much sort of what inspired Ben. I'll show you another one. Oh, apparently there's another one that's better than that. Which one? It's got the swirls. They've all got swirls. I'll show you this one though. So that's another one. So do you see his vision? I mean, obviously Van Gogh didn't do anything Christmas like that, but oh, is that the one? So those are being launched on Thursday. So here, Thursday, same time, I'm going to be launching those, and I'll have some little projects that I've made with them. But let me see if I can find them. My launch that's going to be at the beginning of next month. So we're July now, aren't we? July, what month are we? Can you believe it's nearly August? Oh my God. Yeah, more Starry Night-ish, the second one. Yeah, definitely. So that was sort of his inspiration, and obviously it went from there, but it just works so well with the sort of stained glass window effect. Right, so these are 6x6s, so you're going to get a bit more of a sneaky peek than Miss just showing you one. But my launch, so my official launch, which is, I think it's the 1st or 2nd of August. Obviously, I'll put details up before then. It's so when I was talking to Ben about it, I said, I want somewhere in Italy. Look, you all telling me it's July. I've no idea what time, day, date, year, month it is. My brain doesn't have the capacity for that. So when I was talking to Ben, I said I wanted somewhere in Italy. I said I wanted some beautiful courtyards, where you sat in there and you've got a drink and you've got all the vines and you've got the beautiful the patio. On these ones you can see the beautiful what are the wine fields called? Pardon? Vineyards. Thank you very much. So I've got a couple of collections. One is very much all about the sort of sanctuary of your vineyard. Sorry, I can't pronounce stuff for love nor money, can I? And then the other ones are all about the beautiful view of Italy from your not just from your patio, but no, it's not a patio. What's it called, Ben, when you open your windows and you on your balcony? And then the other one is those beautiful views from your balcony. Now, I wanted these in something a little bit different, so I got Ben to do them in impasto. Now, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Oil painting or oils, impasto oils. So if you look, you can see, I don't need to lift that up. You've got almost the palette markings or palette knife markings on these. I wish I had those views as well, Shannon. So, yeah, it's just absolutely gorgeous. So those is what's coming up, but it's this Thursday that we're going to be doing the last Christmas ones. So I'll be popping obviously all the details up very soon, but I hope you can join me for that. So I'm really excited for that one. But for now, I'm going to leave you with these. So if anyone's got any questions, you can either email me, pop me a message on either Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. Caroline, I hit the like button last week. Fabulous. I was just going to say that as well. All those likes and shares, people who buy, people who don't, it all means the world to me. So, and again, if you've got any ideas for anything that you would like me to see me make, then let me know as well. I have 4 of the Christmas kits left where you can pick your papers and you've got all those beautiful bits and bobs of ephemera. So if you're wanting one of those, pop me a message. Obviously, my papers and everything like that, pop me a message for any of that. B, thank you so much for sharing. You have such a creative imagination. You say creative, and I I say something not as lovely as that. So I'll go with that. Creative. What did you say? Did you know Ben's mumbling away over there? I don't know what he's saying. All right, okay. So this Thursday is going to be the launch of the stained glass window collections. I will can do a couple of little tutorial-y cards in that. I can do that. We'll throw something together. Where did I get this punch from? I got this from, can you read that? It's called, in fact, I got it off of Amazon. So if you search for a corner and a notch punch, I got this from Amazon. I don't know if I can't pronounce it. Is it Vasan Creative? But Amazon, if you search for a corner and a notch punch, this is normally the first thing that comes up. And it was about £8, and I use it all the time. I absolutely love it because obviously you've got corner and a notch. So that is where I got that from. Yes, there will be a show next week, Thursday, same time, same place. I don't know if you was here at the beginning, Shannon, but I'd been to the hospital about my back. So I was poked and prodded on Thursday. So by the time I got home, I just wasn't up to the live, hence why I did it today. But if I don't get a chance to do any tutorial stuff on Thursday when I launch the stained glass stuff, we can do one again on Sunday. So I think Sunday is a good day for lots of people as well as the Thursday. So dragon theme, Michelle. Someone else said that. In fact, I think a few people have said that. A dragon theme. I think it's definitely something Ben's been having to play with. I know that much. Ben's got a very big smile on his face. So creative chaos. That's it. Definitely, Laura. They would work on this cracker absolutely amazingly, because if you remember, the sizes of the pads I offer you is a 12 by 12, which is what I've just used on this one. I've got the A4 pads, which have an 8 by 8 on it. I do the 6 by 6 pads, which is the ones that I've used on this. And then I offer you the topper collection, which has got, so your topper collection has got 12 3 by 3s. It has got 12 of these, which are 4 by 3. And it also has 12, which are 3 by 4. So it's the other way, landscape and portrait. So again, so you've got so many different options that are going to work perfectly for, I think, anything that you are wanting to make. Oh no, I hope you were feeling better on Thursday. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better, thank you. It's just that particular day, I have torn ligaments in the bottom of my back, but they have to give it a good prod, don't they? And then it makes it obviously feel a lot worse that particular day. So I'm just trying to. It just takes time. Apparently, I just have to wait and be patient. You should become an affiliate with Amazon, make a tiny bit of money. I never thought about that, Lynn. I really should. The amount of people that I send over to Amazon, I should look into it really, shouldn't I? But yes, so Thursday, the launch, I'll try and do a couple of little tutorials on there. If not, we will do some stuff on Sunday. But I will be popping the links up tomorrow. You and I discussed a dragon theme. Yes, we did. I'm so thrilled that you were developing it. No worries. Ben was very happy to take that one on board, Pat. Right, so I'm going to let you all go. Thank you all so much for joining. I know you all know about the liking and sharing and things, but it's very much appreciated. And we will definitely be back here on Thursday. So the stained glass windows, I hope that you are all looking forward to that, because I'm very excited to show you the whole collection. And obviously you can rewind and mute me for the sizes and everything of this. So, but for now, I will let you all go. I'm going to go get my tea, and I will see you all on Thursday. So thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you later.